If you're excited about the next Halo game and you want some news on it, well, this is probably the video you're going to want to watch. There is tons of brand new details and interview information regarding Project Foundry and what the next Halo games are going to be all about, regarding Unreal Engine tech benefits, Nanite and Lumen, the renewed focus on the games, and why 343 is gone and it is now called Halo Studios that will be running the show, and what this all means. So be sure to smash that like button blue and subscribe. Join me on the journey. Let's get into it. So we're entering a new dawn for Halo, they say. Those new visuals were created using Unreal Engine 5, and we learned that all future projects will use the engine, and multiple new games using it are in development. Now, alongside the engine change, they say, the studio is seeing changes in culture, workflow, and how its teams are organized. This is why 343 Industries are changing their name. Halo Studios is here. Of course, they share A New Dawn, which actually sounds like a title for a game, honestly. Halo A New Dawn isn't the worst thing I've seen for, I think Halo 5 Guardians is worse than that. But anyway, studio head Pierre Hintz does get into a lot of this stuff. I really want to see a leader come out of here, right? Well, he says if you break Halo down, there have been two very distinct chapters. Chapter 1, Bungie, Chapter 2, 343. Now, I think we have an audience which is hungry for more, so we're not trying to improve the efficiency of development, but change the recipe of how we make games. So we start a new chapter today, right? They say we believe that the consumption habits of gamers have changed and the expectations of how fast their content is available. In other words, he's saying that Halo needs to step it the F up, right? On Halo Infinite, we were developing a tech stack that was supposed to set us up for the future in games at the same time. As gaming evolves and players increasingly point out how long it takes to see games from their favorite series, the team at Halo Studios felt the need to react. And what they're saying here is it sounds like they're really trying to set themselves up for future proofing and producing a lot more content a lot faster, which is ironic because it feels like they've spent about 10 years trying to get into this position, like they tried that with Slipspace Engine. But here, I have a lot more hope. Unreal Engine is not held up by technical debt and bad coding over the course of 25 years, right? Like what they say here, studio art director Chris Matthews admits that some components of Slipspace are up to 25 years old. That means some people that were working on Halo 1, their codes were in Halo Infinite, right? Although 343 were developing it continuously, there are aspects of Unreal that Epic have been developing for some time, which are unavailable to us in Slipspace and would have taken huge amounts of time and resources to try and replicate. Thank God they didn't try to go down that, dig that ditch even deeper. One of the primary things we're interested in is growing and expanding our world so players have more time to interact with and more experience. All right, this is cool stuff. Nanite and Lumen, Unreal's rendering and lighting technologies, which are groundbreaking, offer them an opportunity to do this in a way that the industry hasn't seen before, right? As artists, it's incredibly exciting to do this, right? And they actually do talk about it here soon, but they want this next Halo project, they want Project Foundry at least, even though it is not a game, they want the next games that are being built upon, I guess, Project Foundry. I think it's just, well, we'll talk more about it later. They want it to be groundbreaking, okay? They want it to be visually mind-blowing, right? Of course, I think gameplay matters far more, but we'll get into that later. It's not just about how long it takes to bring a game to the market, they say, but how long it takes us to update the game, bring new content to players, adapt to what we're seeing, what our players want. And this is, in a way, almost a little discouraging. Like, it's just kind of feels a little bit like corporate talk. Like, we did you not know that already? Like, that you've already said this for Halo Infinite, so what's new, right? Part of that is in how we build the game, but another part of that is recruiting. How long does it take to ramp up somebody to be able to actually create assets to show up in your game? Well, hopefully now it will be shorter than, never-ending infinite amount of time. Like for Halo Infinite, I mean, there was like one new weapon, right? So anyway, forging ahead. Halo Studios needed to be confident in the switch to Unreal. This isn't a decision taken lightly. The team had to be sure that the first Halo games to come out of a non-Slipspace engine would look and feel and sound right. They say when we decided to do Foundry, it wasn't at that point in our plan, but we needed to pause and validate is not the right word, but educate and understand what our capability is and access it so we actually know we're on the right path. We've intentionally been really quiet up to this point, but I think today is just about sharing where we are, what our priorities are as a studio, and where the team is. We're really proud of what came out of Foundry. And so they're almost making it sound like it's done with, but I don't think that's quite the case. So what does Foundry represent, right? The team is clear that this is not a new game, but nor is it a traditional tech demo. So what is it? It isn't just an exploration of what's possible with Unreal Engine, it's a true reflection of what would be required for a new game using Unreal and a training tool with how to get there. Foundry has been made with the same rigor, process, and fidelity as a shipped game would be. So really, they're testing, right? They're playing around with it. It's a concept art project. It's a research project. Whatever you want to call it, it's not a game, but I think it is the foundation of the games to come, as they've already admitted. Where this type of work's been done historically across the industry, it can contain a lot of smoke and mirrors. It sometimes leads players down paths where they believe it's going to be one thing, they say, and then something else happens, which was actually exactly the case with 2018's Halo Infinite demo, which is like, yeah, you guys are exactly guilty of doing that thing. So they say the ethos of Foundry is vigorously the opposite of that. Everything we've made is built to kind of the standards that we need to build for the future of our games. Now, why I think this is all different, guys, is the fact that this is not Slipspace. It's not their crappy engine. It's not based on Bungie's very ancient engine and their coding. This is on Unreal Engine 5. It's updated. It's good. They've been looking for a lot of people to work on this, and clearly they have at least the environmental stuff figured out. You know, we haven't seen any gameplay or kind of research gameplay or whatever playing around with that. That I would like to see, and I wish they shared a little bit of that, because anyone could make these really beautiful landscape cinematics, but it takes real skill to make any of this actually playable and fun too, right? They say we were very intentional about not stepping into tech demo territory. We built things that we truly believe in, and the content that we've built, or at least a good percentage of it, could travel anywhere inside of our games in the future if so we desire it. So basically the difference here is that they're kind of moving the goalposts. They're saying it's not a tech demo, but it, to me, in every single way, it feels like a tech demo. Like, the point of a tech demo, from my understanding, is to say that, hey, this is what's possible, and we're probably going to be using some of this stuff here. Maybe that's not what a tech demo is about, but usually when people see tech demos, they get excited about the possible aspect of it working. And that's kind of the same situation that we're in right now. They're just kind of changing the definition of what a tech demo is. I don't know why, but I guess they don't want people to think that what they're showing here won't be used, because I think it is going to be used. They say it's fair to say that our intent is that the majority of what we showcased in Foundry is expected to be in projects which we are building or future projects. It's curious how they're saying projects but not games. I wonder why that is. Anyways, they talk about how there's 3 distinct biomes. You know, they showed us the cool winterland, the flood biome, and obviously the alpine stuff. All of this looks very much like they're going to remake Halo 1 again, but it's going to be a total remake, not a remaster, but a complete from the ground up revisualization, even crazy new weapons and storylines and stuff that will be kind of introducing new people to Halo, but also possibly moving it over to the for the PS5 and the next generation of Xbox, possibly for the 25th anniversary. I think remaking Halo 1 would be a good test for them to kind of understand what it would take to make a whole Halo game, while also kind of keeping it safe, although I'm so tired of Halo 1 at this point. Anyways, they talk about how they modeled Chief, and that the aim wasn't just to push the studio, but the engine itself. So they really wanted to make this thing look pretty, right? They kind of overdid it, in my opinion, almost in some ways. But I mean, is this really going to be something we're going to see? Like, this is so much detail. Can you actually make a game run like this in real time and make it really fun and playable, and also max out the polys? Like, this is extreme detail. Anyways, they say Halo began its life as a graphical showcase for the original Xbox. The goal is to make it that so again. So they say Halo is such an incredible franchise, and it's awesome to see Halo Studios already pushing the boundaries of Unreal Engine 5. This is the vice president of Epic Games, all right? Unreal Engine at Epic Games. We're honored to support the Halo team in realizing their creative visions through Unreal Engine. Project Foundry's work demonstrates how they can bring Halo to life in the beautifully detailed, uncompromised worlds. This is really beautiful stuff, guys. I just want them to make sure that the art style is still there, that the language is still there on the models. They don't try to go crazy with it like they did in Halo 5, trying to make it look photorealistic. That's not Halo to me, but also, I don't know. As long as the gameplay is fun, that's really all we really care about, right? I guess. But anyways, I think it's pretty well known, they say, that switching engine has been a topic that the studio thought about for a long, long time. And you guys know, we've talked about it here on Halo Follower for years now. I mean, so long has this been not only a rumor, but this is what I've heard. Like, just a reminder that my source told me back in the day that if Halo Infinite failed, then the entire studio would have been let go and moved over to another studio or Certain Affinity. And clearly they've kind of changed plans a little bit here. So we kind of saw this coming through my source, but you know, Unreal Engine was also predicted a long time ago. They say the release of Unreal Engine 5 was when we felt like we could make Halo games that respect and reflect the true soul of Halo, while also being able to build games that can deliver on the scale and ambition of content that players want. So, what do we want anyway? I mean, honestly, what do we want? Because, guys, we want, I think, Flood, right? We want a lot more AI on the screen. We want a lot of weapons. We want great looking visuals, but we also want, you know, a lot of players in multiplayer. You know, let's bring it up to 50, 100. I mean, it's 2024. These things are very possible. So why can't we get past 24 players? Or what is it, 28 now in Halo Infinite, which is still pretty cool, don't get me wrong, but I want to see some like Battlefield stuff, right? That's what players have been wanting for forever. With Unreal Engine, I think it could be possible. The spirit of Halo is more than just the visuals. It's the lore, the physics. Playing as Chief, you're this huge tank of a soldier, and I think that's what Foundry's about too, is that they're trying to figure out, they're trying to get the coding right, trying to get the gameplay feeling right, the weapons and the HUD and the visuals to read right. So to me, this is kind of the pre-production phase, right? They say we're really obsessed about this. Like, you're this huge tank of a soldier. We're really all obsessed about what our players love about Halo. We're constantly listening to this feedback, and that's at the core of any initiative like Foundry or any intention that the studio about is how we move forward. And guys, I would say I would call BS on that line if I didn't see Flood stuff. I think that this studio is very different than what 343 was back in 2015. I just feel like it's a bit different, right? A lot has changed, I guess. I'm not saying that everything's great. Let's not hold our breath yet. Let's see what they produce. But they say we're thinking about the intangibles. This is what the studio head Pierre Hintz says. The interaction with the Master Chief or your Spartan or the enemies. We are very careful about the decisions we're making in that space, down to the precision and authenticity of the weapons and the authenticity of the animations. There is a loose list of nuances which we use to verify that we're on track. So this is what I like about this studio's kind of approach, is that they're really focused on not screwing it up and making a game that respects the legacy. Because Halo 4 and Halo 5's development cycle, I remember covering the news on that. I've been doing this for over 13 years, and they very often talked about how it's going to be fun, you're going to enjoy it. We've introduced all these cool new things, all these brand new aspects. You know, we're trying to, and, you know, they would later admit that they kind of gaslit us, you know, and that they were trying to chase the dragon of other games, Call of Duty. and that they kind of lost the sight of it because they were so focused on their vision. That 343 does not seem to be present here. They are spouting the same kind of, goodwill comments about how they love Halo, how they love the fans, but the thing is that they're kind of showing it with the flood stuff, assuming that that is actually used, as they said, unless they're straight up lying. I don't think they are, but yes, they say it's fair to say that a new Halo game is not imminent. It won't be coming out soon, but I do think that possibly sometime this time next year, we may be getting a Halo CE remake. And it would be cool if that included multiplayer. That might be too soon. It is the 25th year anniversary of Halo next year, so, hopefully we can get something with that, but we'll see. Anyways, Hints makes clear that the priority right now is on doing the work and not simply talking about it. The quietness is by design. Hints makes clear that the priority right now is on doing the work, not simply talking about it. One of the things I really wanted to get away from was the continued teasing out of possibilities and must-haves. We should do more and say less. For me, I really think it is important that we continue to posture, which we have right now, when it comes to our franchise. The level of humility, the level of servitude towards Halo fans. We should talk about things when we have things to talk about at scale. Today is the first step. We're showing Foundry because it feels like the right thing to do. We want to explain our plans to Halo fans and attract new, passionate developers to our team, and yada yada. Okay, so there's more, but I just want to say this is what I've been begging 343 to do. Very soon after Halo Infinite, I wish they did this video and talked about all this sooner. Maybe they just couldn't because they were working on this, but still, I think that this really was needed for morale. We needed to know what the F was going on. All right. We had a disproportionate focus on trying to create the conditions to be successful in servicing Halo Infinite, but switching to Unreal Engine allows us to put all the focusing on making multiple new experiences at the highest quality possible. So at the end of the day, if we build the games that our players want to play, that's how we'll be successful. Thank you. I think, honestly, Halo Infinite's gameplay was pretty good. Obviously, there was a lot of other issues with it and the engine and just a lot of technical aspects to it. Hopefully, they take some inspiration from that, as well as Halo 3 and, the other Halo games, and really focus on that. But that's what should motivate what we build, and that's, what the structure has done. We want the people to be day in, day out making the games, right? So we also started with the Master Chief Collection, they say, and carried on with Halo Infinite, and we want to do even more for our next projects, because at the end of the day, it's not just how we do evaluate, it's how do our players evaluate it, right? 343 Industries was founded to create Halo games, but the impression I get is that they say, in its new incarnation as Halo Studios, the studio has been retooled to put the focus entirely on that goal, without distraction, without impediment, to create better games with players' hopes and wishes at the heart of the endeavor. Now, that's great, and I have one big question for that. What was the goal before then? Because they said, you asked why we consider this as a new chapter. We want a singular focus. Everyone is in this place to make the best possible Halo games. And that's the end of the article. But what were you doing before that, I guess? And, I want to be optimistic. I want to give you guys some hopium if there's any to give. But, I just, I feel like I'm going to have to see it. We're kind of beyond the word talk now, like like them saying things we want to hear. Obviously, this is mostly what we want to hear, but I'm gonna have to see it now. I'm gonna have to see you actually finish a Halo game and not screw it up for once, like within reason. Obviously, there's always going to be some issues here and there, but this looks beautiful. This is a really great you don't want to call it a tech demo, but it is a tech demo. I know some people get frustrated with me when I fight with the terminology or things that 343 says, but I'm just going to call a spade, right? Like, this is clearly a tech demo. And I mean, they might not like me saying that, but like, I don't know what they're saying, that it's not a tech demo. If tech demos have gotten a bad rep at this point, I understand. But this is kind of them testing out, like, it is them testing the technology. They're demonstrating that the technology can be used. I mean, tech demos have done a lot more than just, be a showcase. They've actually did make it into the final game. So that's why I'm a little bit, tomato tomato whatever. But anyways, regardless, this is a good step to the future of Halo. I'm really looking forward to it. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'll catch you soon. Peace.